Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Essential Questions podcast. I am your host, Pam Myers, and my wonderful co host is Erica Yoakum. Our guests today are with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. And I want to welcome Laura Motley. Laura's the development director with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and Pete Garcia is the volunteer recruiter and community engagement coordinator. So thanks so much for both of you joining us today on the podcast. Um, Tell us, Laura and Pete, tell us each, how long have you each been involved in the organization and Big Brothers and Big Sisters?
Great. I'll go ahead and go first. So I have not been here quite 2 years, so still relatively new. I joined the agency in May of 2023, thinking fundraising would be a lot like sales, and it is and it isn't. So it's exciting because I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about nonprofits, fundraising. I knew about Big Brothers Big Sisters, but this has been quite a great experience.
Oh, good. Yeah. It is. I totally get where you're coming from because you think, oh, well, it's kind of the same thing, but yet there is a significant difference.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Pete, what about you? You joined?
I've been with the agency for 6 months now. This is actually my first time working directly with a nonprofit organization. And all my life, since I was able to walk, I've been helping with nonprofit organizations. So it's a really unique experience to be actually in the nuts and bolts of what happens to run an organization.
So you're in charge of corralling volunteers. So herding cats and all that good stuff. Yeah. So that's kudos to you both, because fundraising, thank you. No, thank you. I watched Pam do it for 6 years when we were working together, and I was always amazed by, like, it looked like magic to us, but she was over there ready to, fork whoever walked by.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh, what do you tell us more about in depth with the organization? What's your favorite part? What do you love about it? Well, what makes it what it is really so successful in Central New Mexico?
You want to go first?
Yeah, what really brought me to the organization is seeing all the different people from the agency out in community. And they really have a Jedi mission with justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And, this year I'm celebrating 10 years as Mr. New Mexico Pride. So, so much of my life has been, in every different part of our community that I can get my hands on. And I saw that they also had that. So for me, that's what was so inviting to say, this is who I want to be with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And congratulations on that, Pete.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. How about you, Laura?
3 questions. We're done. We're good. No.
Yeah.
Finish.
You win.
Give me the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, and I had heard it. My dad was actually a Big Brother years ago, and I've heard of the agency forever. Great reputation. And when I was kind of stepping away from my very chaotic sales position, which I did for 20 plus years, I was looking to slow down, but not quite ready to retire. And this was a perfect fit. It was much more than I bargained for. I knew about helping youth and mentoring youth. I think the Jedi component was a very unexpected surprise for me as well, because I'd never worked for a company where they embraced those Jedi best practices. And I'm first generation. And so going back and thinking of how it was when I was born in the United States, but the things like getting in trouble for speaking Spanish when I was little and being embarrassed. So I stopped doing that and working with an agency that understood that, supported, and was an ally to that. And that is when in turn made me decide to be a big sister as well and work with first generation kids. So that was just a great unexpected opportunity. And it also, when you're going out and asking for money, it's hard, but I remember why I'm doing it. And it's for all of those kids. It's super easy for me to get up in the morning and say, okay, there is a child at the end of this who my hard work is going to make a difference in their life and in their future, whatever they decide to do. And, we all need to get paid and we need a paycheck and paying bills, but it's much more than that. And it's when you find your why and that reason to get up in the morning, it's just amazing. And that Big Brothers Big Sisters has provided that for me.
So who came up with the JEDI acronym?
Our national.
I've never heard it phrased as JEDI before, and I'm thinking that's freaking brilliant.
Yeah. It came from Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. So this is an agency all across the United States. JEDI initiatives are very, very important to every agency in the United States. So
it's much more sexy than DEI.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So coming up with the JEDI. When you said that, my brain just like immediately went.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
brilliant. That's so much
Yes.
here. Yeah, Jedi. Like you're gonna go to a kid and say, "Hey, Jedi."
Jedi.
I mean, any of that is just like, wow, the possibilities. As long as he who should not be named doesn't show up on your doorstep and go, "Hey, don't." Mr. Lucas shows up and says, "Don't do that."
Don't do that. But but justice is an important component of all of
Yeah.
that. And all of us, stand separately but yet work together. So we love JEDI and everything that it encompasses.
That's awesome.
How many youth do you typically have under your umbrella on, say, a given quarter, or I don't know how you measure that, by 6 months or a year?
We asked for a year commitment, so it's measured on a year. From there, we just got the numbers this morning. So currently, as of today, we have 195 matches that we're serving. So that's 195 kids with some really strategic goals for growth, because we have quite a few kids on in just one of our programs that we have. So more like the school-based programs, but we have several kids, especially boys, on the waiting list, and that's where the need for volunteers becomes really urgent.
Interesting. Why more boys?
So it's recruiting the men. Oftentimes when I talk to men, they're like, I don't want to mess up this relationship, and what if I do it wrong? I had a friend from high school, when I was talking about our organization, he was like, I can't do this. And I know him so well. I said, I saw you do it to just some random youth a couple weeks ago. Do you remember the conversation you had with her about her volunteerism and what she's doing in the community? He goes, yeah. And I said, you mentored that youth. And it's more of letting the men know they could do this.
Right.
I hear it over and over because I'm out there in the community tabling, and you really have to sell a guy to say, you could do this. Women have that initial oh, I got this. I can do this.
Right. Well, what do they think? I think most people, maybe they think that what they think they have to do and what they really need to be doing is two different things. Is that part of the problem? Is they think they got to be John Wayne and swagger onto the scene and go, I'm going to solve all your problems, instead of just saying, hey, I'm here to listen. I can, offer you my years of wisdom, kind of thing.
Right. I think it's
John
I think they
Wayne.
overthink
How old am
it.
I?
Yeah, I like that description. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think this is what,
wait a second, I lost my train of thought.
I think women just tend to be more nurturing and volunteer and do that. And it still is a female, it's still scarier. Like, what am I going to do with this kid? And that those initial fears are there. I think with men, and what I've heard in particular, in the LGBTQ plus community, BIPOC communities, it's a fear for their safety that they might get accused of something, and they want to be safe. And one of the best things I heard was from one of our BIPOC committee members. It's like, you can't ever guarantee safety. BIPOC communities aren't safe. LGBTQ communities aren't safe, but you can bring equity to the table from there. And again, we don't ever want to promise something we can't deliver, but we do very strict protocols on who we screen. We work very hard to get the matches right because we want it to work. It's in everybody's interest that it works. But I think with certain communities and men, it's like, I don't want to get accused of doing something
No, that's fair.
and my safety and my, my reputation and the safety of this child is at risk. And I want to be very careful.
Yeah.
Something else I hear is I already have a brother or I already have a sister. And I go right back with, do you have every hobby and every interest in common with that brother or sister? And oftentimes they say, absolutely not.
I know.
Like my brother was totally into sports. I was not. So when you break it down and say, well, if you like sports, we'll find someone else that likes sports. Or if you like going to the opera, we'll find a youth that likes the opera as well. We'll find people that have the same interest. So you both have a great experience.
Interesting.
Wow. And so you ask for a year commitment on anyone that volunteers. What about age? How do the ages vary? Like, what's the youngest to the oldest? Is there? I imagine. Yeah, I have no idea actually. So.
So it's between 6 and 18.
Okay.
And then in the middle of there is where most of them fall. But being out in the community, I hear stories every day. My little was in my wedding. My little was, so we asked for a year because studies show that is the amount of time it takes to have an established relationship. But these can go on for, if someone starts at 8 years old, it could be a 10-year relationship and then go beyond that outside of the agency.
Yeah.
So
They age out, they're still going to be, they're going to be friends. Right. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming volunteers can be what, 18 to 80? Yeah. Do you have?
Yeah, exactly. Any age, if you're up to doing it. Yes, absolutely.
And now we do have other programs like something called Mentor 2.0 that is at South Valley Academy. And that one is more of a professional development program where you are starting with someone in their sophomore year of high school. And the goal is to get them to graduation with a plan of what they're going to do after graduation, whether it be go to CNM, UNM, a trade school, that you get them geared up to know that they're going to have a direction of where to go.
Oh, that's cool.
And that one you have to be 21.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
I know a bunch of homeschooled moms that have, our kids are all done. And I'm thinking, I think I probably need to put a call out to the homeschool group down here and say, take all those skills.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Yeah. And I mean, we often say here, someone else in our office said it, and it's so true. And New Mexico is what it is right now, and Albuquerque is. But if we don't mentor our youth, somebody else will. And I mean, you can't go to a professional training or sales without, like, they recommend to young professionals, find a mentor. And we've all done that. We have those people in our lives that changed our lives because of who they were in our life and listened and provided guidance. And our youth really, really need that. And that's what it is. It just is being there to listen, be an ally and advocate for them, spend time with them. And it just it takes a little bit of time to build the trust. But once they come around, it's really amazing.
And I totally concede, like mom and a big sister saying exactly the same thing, but the kid listening to the big sister because they're not mom.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like you see that over and over. Like I could be saying the same thing to my kid, and his girlfriend or something will say it.
Yeah.
And he'll go, oh, that's such a good idea.
Yes, or my daughter did that to me. It's like, seriously, I've said that to like I was almost blue in the face. She's like, no, you didn't. And I'm like, okay, I didn't. So,
That's that
I
tune
get
out
it.
thing.
Right, right.
Yeah,
You know what's that old? Sometimes we need to hear things multiple times before it actually makes the connection, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
yes, yeah, I think most kids are like, oh well, it's mom.
yeah, yeah.
And you're old. What do you
Yeah.
know?
Right. What do you know?
Yeah, you don't know anything. What? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You through
and
school. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And now you have you have multiple programs that you do, right? Like you have what I was looking on the website. You have
Here's the website.
community-based programs and yeah, it's a great website, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We're working on it. It's going to be even better. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you rely
BBBS-cnm.org. Great. Yeah. And they're sorry. There's an irritated dog in the background. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. Glad it's not mine.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah, so there's a lot of different programs. So it's not just one thing. People could take a look at the different programs and go, oh, that one more resonates with me.
So
I like the idea of the sophomore and getting them through, because there's so many programs and things like dual credits. There's so many kids out there that don't realize if you run dual credits through high school, by the time you get to college, your AA is this far from being
amazing.
done.
Yes.
Right. Like
yes.
my son is now like he could actually have dual majors because all of his GE was done pretty much when he walked into UNM. But a lot of kids don't know that. So
Exactly. No, and it makes a big difference. And we have something for everybody. The slogan that we kicked off about a year ago was "It takes little to be big," and it really just takes all these little moments of being with your little and teaching them how to tie their shoe. Or we did a career event here last spring. And it was my area was dressing for an interview. Like, how would you dress going into an interview? And we were teaching, it ended up being everybody, but young men, how to tie a tie. And this was the most incredible moment ever, was like watching the pride and then watching the bigs like, oh, I can teach you how to tie a tie. And it's such a rite of passage.
Yes.
The girls wanted to learn, but watching these young men like, I'm wearing a tie and now I know how to tie one. And, the big saying, my grandfather taught me, my dad taught me. It was magical to watch. And it's that little. It's that small on the things that just make a very lasting impact on those types of things.
That's a core memory, though. That's a learning to walk moment. Learning to tie a tie. And that's very much very true. You're right. It is a rite of passage. That is a growth thing. Like getting an ATM card in our house was like a big freaking deal.
Yeah,
and then we had that. I mean, I'm from the age literally because I'm Gen X. How can I be out of money? I still have checks. Yeah, I mean that was the running joke in high school. Balancing a checkbook and all of that was the rite of passage.
Right.
Yes. Yep.
Well, they don't get that in school. They don't get necessarily.
You didn't get it back in the Stone Age days either. I mean, they handed me a checkbook and nobody ever told me that I had to actually balance it.
Right. Yeah. The checks are worthless unless you have many. Yeah.
So I have a true confession.
Your true confession?
Yeah.
I do not know how to tie a tie.
Oh, I can teach you.
Oh, wow.
So my father is a bolo tie man.
Yes.
So, my true confession is I have a whole box of clip-on ties.
There you go.
And I don't think anyone has ever known that.
Okay, now we know. But I'll teach you how to tie a tie.
Now you see me with
There's
a tie.
There's a safety thing there too, my friend. Nobody's ever going to strangle you with your clip-on tie.
That's true.
You know what? I'm going to tell people that's why I do it.
That's exactly. That's why I'm telling you. See, it's one of those little things. One of those little things. You say, no, I have an irrational fear of being strangled to death by a tie. So I do a clip-on. Right? And
that's
people, what are they going to say? That's a great one.
Yeah.
So I want to talk for a moment about and hear what you have to say about the personalities, the origins of the children that are within your system at Big Brothers and Big Sisters? They're not all kids that don't have parents. Many of them have parents and they just are looking for like some extra guidance or somebody to
Enrichment.
mentor
Yeah.
them, right?
Right.
Yeah, it really could be anybody. And I mean, one thing, you know, feeling like a savior, but learning truly to be an ally is, you know, they're kids full of potential, not at-risk youth. Whether they're being raised by a single parent. I mean, we do have kids where maybe one parent is incarcerated, a parent has died, they're living with their grandparents. That's a big one, is kids living with their grandparents. Usually on the lower socioeconomic level is where we see our kids. So there's those challenges there. And I mean, I was a single mom. I know I worked my butt off and didn't have a lot of time. And it's like, but it probably would have been good for my daughter, but my family was very involved as well. So there's all kinds of different circumstances. And it's not that you're doing something wrong or done something wrong. It's just what you've got going on in life right now.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
And if people don't feel comfortable in mentoring, they can also make a donation, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, it takes little to be big. You can become an individual donor and do a one-time donation. You could be a monthly engaged donor and give an amount. There's no amount that's too small. Anything helps. We are 100% donor supported organization. So we get our money through donations, grants, and that is where it all comes from. So anything will help. And then we don't charge for any of our services. So everything that we provide to the families is free of charge. So we don't charge them for anything that any of the services that we do.
Wow. Wow. So you have a pretty intense job of going out there and finding that money.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. That's
Yeah.
good. That's wow. Good job.
And what about if someone wants to, say, mentor a child and they want to take them to the zoo, then that is up to them to handle the expense of that trip, just to make sure everybody's
Yeah, and so
clear.
we also partner with a lot of places in the community that offer discounts. So we have an event coordinator that has a whole list, and she sends it out to the bigs, and so it gives them those options of where to go.
Got
Do
it.
you get a badge? I got my badge. I got my big brother, big
We have
sister.
a little pin that says I'm a big. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
They're great.
They
Yeah.
have a thing on their phone, right?
I think it's on their phone that identifies them to get discounts at like
Nice.
numerous restaurants, the biopark. Every year we just talked about this day. We just set it up. The New Mexico United invites our matches and our group to go out, and the kids get to walk the players out onto the pitch. This is going to be our third year doing this. And last year somebody didn't show up and I got to walk a player out with another kid. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. Oh my
They're
God.
ginormous.
Yeah,
I had the best picture of
my God.
Pam. Of Pam
Yeah,
standing
and I'm
amongst the United
Yeah.
players, and I'm looking out on the pitch, going, "Where the hell is it, Pam?" And I had to look down because, like,
Yeah.
they are like 2 feet taller than. I mean, they're taller than I'm
They're
5'9", and they all walked by me, and I felt like a little kid. I was like, "Wow!"
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one player grabbed my hand and it was probably 5 times as big as mine.
Right?
And he was so
Little
nice.
soccer
Yeah.
players. No, them
Yeah.
as big ass athletes, man. They
I'm
walk
like,
by you, they're big.
wow. And just so kind. And we were out there. He's like, okay,
Yeah.
turn around now. Okay, you need to leave the field now. And
That's great.
you need to go. But it was, and again, for me, I was excited. But watching our littles, like their faces in the picture, it was incredible. And the Somos Unidos Foundation Mexico United, they're a great partner and really work with us. And it's those community partners that just help us continue to keep those costs down by providing opportunities like this for us.
Right. Yeah. We are so lucky that we have such great community of support
Yes.
in New Mexico. And it makes it a little bit easier for everyone to do their job, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
If you want to give one more, like another shout out, your last parting words, what would you like that to be? And Erica just put the website up there. Thank you, Erica.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, and again, 100% donor supported organization. We do have some events coming up that you can see on our website. So done across the nation, Bowl for Kids' Sake is coming up in March. Super fun. We have a disco theme this year. So I think Pete has quite a party planned for us. It's going to be fun.
Oh,
I'm
yay.
excited. Yeah, that is, and you can get in as little as signing up a team, or you can do a sponsorship. So that information is on our website. We do have a matchmakers breakfast, which is just individual donors where you can come hear all these inspirational stories in a little bit more detail. And that's happening in May the 8th, which is a Thursday. And then we have a STEAM event coming up in November that really just introduces kids to STEAM careers, possibilities.
Wow.
That just keeps getting bigger every year. I think we had close to 1,500 kids this year.
It was wild.
It was insane.
Wow.
It was. And Decker Parish, Honeywell, Sandia National Labs, just great exhibitors out there. It's a lot of work, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So those are our 3 big ones. A few others. We've got some New Mexico United things coming up. We might be working on a pickleball tournament that Pete just worked on today. So yeah, just pickleball. Pete didn't believe me how much fun it is. So
I have not tried pickleball yet, but
you and Pete, you and I are the last two. I swear to God, you two are the last two to not try it out. But it's everywhere. You cannot go anywhere without hearing about pickleball.
It is fun. And we do have an open house next Tuesday, the 21st. It is open to anyone that just wants to come learn more about us. We're doing it in partnership with the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. So they will be here. They're a great partner as well and incredibly supportive. And so that is open to anyone. It's at 4:30 at our office. You can check our website for that as well. And just come by and learn more about what we do. And you can learn about events, individual sponsorship, and also volunteering.
Very cool. Very cool.
Do people have to register, or can you just show up?
If you could register, that way we can get a head count, that would be great. But we wouldn't turn you away if you just showed up.
And we do have a new friend with an organization called La Planta. And they're going to be doing some fun snacks and hors d'oeuvres for us that are going to be vegan friendly.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds delicious. Yeah.
Don't tell the kids.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah.
It's full of
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Made with asparagus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think Doritos are vegan too. That always just kind of floored me. It's like, I think Doritos fall in that vegan category. So
Really?
Yeah.
Did you hear Doritos are thinking of going square?
Oh, no.
What?
I see. Exactly.
Yeah, they're on every level. Yeah.
It's in England they're trying out different shapes, and one of them was square, and it's like caused quite the dither.
Yeah, is that and you'll remember this? Remember the new Coke and what an uproar that did years ago, and did not. It's not very well received. So yeah, it's like
you know what? Those bottles are now those cans are actually worth money now because they tanked as soda, but they're a collector's item.
Of course. Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's what I love about these conversations. You never know what's going to pop up. No pun intended.
Useless trivia that you might need at some point. Yes.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you both, Laura and Pete, for being a guest on the podcast. And thank you for all the work you do on behalf of Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Central New Mexico.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate you. And again, we look forward to seeing you in the future and just working together on different things and being mutually supportive.
And thank you for giving us the platform to get the message out there.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Please reach out to them. Check out their website, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. You can find it online. It's super easy. They have a great, easy to navigate website. So check it out, volunteer, make some donations. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much for listening.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.